Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah!
And it's time for the recipe turnabout final trial, probably. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when more Ace Attorney and other Let's Play videos arrive every day here on KwingsLetsPlays.
Woohoo!
So, last time we went into the courtroom, and now it is Armstrong's time to talk.
Yes, Monsieur Armstrong.
Yes. When it all happened, there were 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with the new Art Deco. Actually, we should go back and do this one. Boom.
Yeah, let's hold it. Yeah, let's press everything.
And who were the 2 customers exactly?
Yeah!
Was, of course, the young man who died, and the other not-so-young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table?
I know.
Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence.
We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up. Don't we, Nick?
That's true. I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. I remember I was experimenting with some new Art Deco at the day. You were experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about that before today?
I know, right?
You're not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur?
No, we didn't hear you were doing
Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decoration? No, Art Deco. It's a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Ah, yes, of course. That deco. I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning my bold remodeling of le decor.
Okay.
Like having a large mirror between... No, there was no mirror. There's no mirror.
I don't remember seeing a mirror.
No, there isn't. Crime photo. That's a partition. That could be a painting or something, but no, there's no mirror.
I don't see any mirror.
This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly is the evidence in the statement just now related? They aren't. Wait, no, that's a...
Yes, they are.
That's a mirror.
I don't see any mirror in there.
Was I supposed to just press him? Oh, fine.
I guess we'll just have to take their word for it that it is a mirror.
Like having a large mirror between the tables.
Hold it!
That's not right. How big of a mirror are we talking about here?
Yeah, and why wasn't the mirror there when we went to the restaurant?
There wasn't. Something about 4 meters wide and we about 2 meters high. Let's see, if 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy glass and frame, that's huge! I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually.
Why?
The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. No, there wasn't. Was not, but I decided not to go through with it at the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Press
harder, Luke! Let's do this!
If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it.
Yeah!
But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But, you didn't ask, Trite. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work.
Huh?
What? A mirror was delivered to Tres Beyond the day before the incident.
Psh, whatever.
Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tres Bien, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime.
Thank you!
Ha! If you want to doubt someone, Trite, look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror? No. Oui, perhaps that is the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Normally, how does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you.
What?
Huh? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it?
No.
Where does that leave... Oh, where does that leave the poor core-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trite?
Yeah, but we're saying it's highly unlikely.
Not the hair!
I do not have a top knot!
Mr. Godot is correct.
What?
Lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Psh! Bien! Logic has won le day! Le couple earpiece at glass, he would have seen everything in reverse, no?
It doesn't make any sense.
No. Everything, he would have seen everything in reverse? Wait!
Hey, Nick! We should take a second think about what old CD said in his testimony!
How did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. And he used the same hand to pick up the hand of coffee. Whatever. So,
If he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh?
and that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess, or does it? Huh. It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but...
Do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection, Nick?
if he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony.
But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We've just gotta dig deeper, Nick.
When it all happened, there were 2 customers in my restaurant. And who were the 2 customers exactly? Was, of course, the young man. Yeah, okay, we already did this one. You're referring to the other man. Yeah. No, we did this one.
Okay.
I remember I was experimenting with the art decor. Like having a large mirror between the tables.
Okay, so... Why don't...
Oh, wait a sec. Maybe I'm doing this all wrong.
Okay, why don't we... Okay, we're really talking about the mirror and what's...
Oh, wait, whoops. I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
I was trying to get to a profile of somebody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're talking about the mirror and what side he had his earpiece on, so why don't we try presenting that guy's profile on the one where he's talking about the earpiece and the glasses.
Ah, dang it, I didn't mean to do that. That was a slip up, guys.
Okay, yes, that. So present the Elg's profile, Glenn, and see, like, because I don't feel like everything adds up right there. I don't know.
The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing an earpiece on the same side as the green lens on his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left ear. Pizza's here.
2 hours later.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. Exactement, I guess. You see, monsieur, knows that you think about. It's not so hard now.
I don't speak French either, Luke.
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is on the wrong side of his head?
Whoa!
Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness generally observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then he would have expected the victim's earpiece to have been over his right eye. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
How bitter. Trite, you should have tasted this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time.
Why does he keep calling us trite?
Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks? Oh, he thinks? You remember this, I presume. The I broke the vase, sorry, apology left. Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony. Exactly. The old man has a very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And that's the most striking thing about Mr. Glenn. What is the most striking thing? Certainly it's the victim's eyepiece thing. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Glenn's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Uh-oh. I saw the earpiece on those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were on both his left ear and, do you hear, his left ear. Ah, well, Trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever.
Wow, I really thought he was old Seedy there for a minute there. Kudo was really good. Except for we didn't know we were supposed to do an impression of him.
Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of the contradiction you found is really just a rash.
It's good. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears.
I am not entirely convinced there was a mirror there at all.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at les plans of le restaurant. The mirror.
I feel bad for you to have to do this French accent because
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Alors, everyone sitting comfortably? Le mirror is in this middle of le restaurant, dividing the two halves. There's only one seat from which you could have seen any image of the victim.
Oh, the mirror was in the middle of the room.
That was the seat at the table next to the victim. That was where the old man was sitting.
Why would they have a mirror there?
It doesn't make any sense. How would the waitress move around? It's a small restaurant. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror. It was not in the way.
What?
But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
Why would you move anything after the crime scene?
I see no problems with the explanation we have just had. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette. I am confessing all the men like these. Don't worry about it. Gulp, 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 gulp. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in cold sweats over there again. Ah, I hate that guy. I hate him. You didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Of course. Very well. Very well, Mr. Knight. Your cross-examine, if you please.
I guess he's saying volunteers? I don't know.
I don't care.
It's fine.
Le mirror was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. So run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? Oui. Whoops.
Yeah, but we're just taking this guy's word for it.
Really? Because I know if it were you, I wouldn't put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Thank you! Oh my gosh!
Look who's talking, Trite.
There's no way anyone could get any food around in there.
You're obstructing my view, among other things. But, this is my seat in the courtroom. Tres bien charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way.
But if you were the only customer, why would you want to see other people in the mirror?
I don't know. Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, monsieur, le mirror was there in the middle of le restaurant. No, it wasn't. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of la victime. And where would that be? Ooh la la, look who you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I could keep you in suspense a little longer. Ho ho ho. Mr. Armstrong, stop being weird. Tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know. Handsome. Shall I tease you too? Please no.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, coffee's good. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a very, very long time.
I bet he has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. She.
Bien, I will tell you this. There was only one seat from which you could have seen. That was the seat table next to the victim's seat. There was the old man was sitting. I don't believe you. Because the picture shows there's no mirror. Look again. You can't see, you would see a shadow of a mirror. If there was really... Oh, I'm going with it.
It's very frustrating.
I'm going with it. It has to be. Bingo. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we've heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? That's right. Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Ha! Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is something that should not exist in this photo?
Well, for one, the lamp was supposed to be knocked over.
It has to be... the vase. Vase isn't supposed to be here, but also there should be like some type of shadow for a mirror.
Yeah. I thought the vase was supposed to be knocked over, but I don't know which vase.
It would be this table then. If he was sitting here, I think that's what they said. Let's try this. I think it's pretty obvious this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence.
Well, it was somebody's testimony about the vase.
Victor's testimony.
Yeah, there we go. I broke the vase in my seat. There we go. That's it.
So 2 pieces of evidence. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony, Your Honor. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting.
Yeah.
And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. The seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Well, he wasn't sitting there.
Exactly. What? There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trey's bien that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is a lie. A very elaborate one. Mon Dieu! Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. There would be a stain. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I didn't touch anything except the mirror.
There you go.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good impression.
Yeah, better than yours, Godot.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Sniffle. I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we'll return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in the air in which he couldn't hear? Huh. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it.
Alright, I have an idea. What if... Well, this is kind of stupid, but what if they put that medication slip in his pocket later to pretend like he was taking ear medication, but they actually put it in his coffee? Never mind. Are you gonna be okay, Nick? Can you really solve this contradiction?
There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean?
Remember what Maggie told us.
There was another man at the victim's table! And there was a sample CD on the victim's table too!
It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason. Why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The ear doctor made a mistake, Mr. Kudo made a mistake. The victim was a phony? Okay. Well, we can try that one. That's pretty, well, that's pretty out there. Let's go with it.
I don't know.
If the case is riddled with this many contradictions, yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
Wait, they staged it?
What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg.
What?
Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. What? That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake.
Oh my gosh, this is way too complex.
What?
It's hard for me to believe.
Patooey!
Why would they go to all this trouble to stage it just for that old man?
I have no idea. Order in the court, settle down. I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite, are you saying that Mr. Kudo saw everything as a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the expense purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Kudo, Victor. Well, the other way around.
Yeah.
Great. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most incessant about in his testimony was, yeah, this serving girl brought me a Java Cheeto, but she put something in it. That was the serving girl, right? There in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there was no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening, unless he's in on it.
He's in on it, though.
That's right, well, witness. If your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you wouldn't have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is the most difficult for me. That's not true. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony Tresbien that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth and nothing but it about what happened. I agree. The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Oi! Oui! Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is...
Le victim, Monsieur Glenn, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There was no other customers. When word got he won the lottery, Mr. Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. Now there was no time for phony to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant at all. Pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What? Why would you lie?
What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you.
I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. But now we'll hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
Yeah, but we've had witnesses lie all the time before. He never, like...
I know. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. The chef has to be in on it. In the restaurant.
He's probably less worried about perjury than whatever else he did.
Le victim came to my restaurant alone. I don't think so. Was he alone at his table as well? Oui, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the table of the victim. Ha! Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. What? You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite.
Okay.
What kind of coffee has he been drinking? Probably spiked coffee.
It's not coffee, it's love! It's love that's bittersweet, Nick.
Oh boy. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden.
Maya's wise?
Yeah. I remember the old man arrived not long after him.
Oh, I mean, she is like the channeling leader of her town. Alright, so let's see,
By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a spit just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. Oh, sorry, not, sip.
But it's okay, Freudian slip there.
Freudian slip. I said it was worth one sip, nothing more. It's disgusting. So, old Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How many minutes after?
Yeah, how many minutes after, exactly?
So you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves a possibility that something happened in that gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see, approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all?
Yeah, right.
It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time.
That's not what Mr. Kudo
Rats!
said.
I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning.
Oops.
There was no other customers. Okay. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim? Gulp. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Trite? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can grind bird seed to make coffee, if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it.
Alright, so let's see,
When I got word the lottery won, Mr. Glenn became very excited. Okay. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000!" Presumably the defendant heard that too, then correct. Maggie? She looked like a poor little girl who was frightened of. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some birdseed that got stuck in his throat. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. It was approximately 5 minutes later, it was where poisoning occurred. And what were you doing at this point? Without any customers, you must have a hard time to kill. You had time to kill, sorry. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, and what do you mean? There is a renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, a tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef and $500,000 of debt.
Aww.
Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery.
How convenient.
It is called, some porqué.
Yeah.
Whatever. It means, why? Perhaps I should recite for the court? Please don't.
I want to hear a poem.
None, there was no time for a phony to do acting, whatever. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone. By your own argument, Trite. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. The end. It seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas?
I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to his keys. Ah.
Guess so.
Alright, well, I guess we can go back through the testimony. The one thing, didn't he say, what time did he say the guy arrived at the thing?
Arrived at the scene of the crime? 2 minutes.
No, he arrived at what time, I thought? When he was saying, when we pressed him on one of the statements, he said El came, I thought he said he came around 2 or something like that.
Yeah, he might have said that.
And then the radio show was supposed to happen at like 1:30 every week. So how could he have been listening to the radio show if he came at 2 o'clock?
You're right! Alright.
That doesn't make any sense. So what's that radio show flyer we have? Maybe we could present that on one of the statements for contradiction.
Someone was impersonating Glenn, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all.
But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too?
She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember?
Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act?
We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony.
Alright, so
not
he
this
came
one.
alone. And then it says, I remember the old man arrived not long after him.
Yep. There was no other customers.
When it says the lottery,
there's no other customers. When he got word, he won the lottery.
Okay. Let's look at what kind of stuff we have to present in the court record.
Okay.
Where's the lottery flyer? The flyer for the lottery. It's red, I thought.
The lottery for the flyer? That's the ticket.
No, the flyer for the lottery. It's red.
Ah, right
There
here.
we go. Yeah.
1:30.
Yeah, let's present that.
Uh-oh. This evidence clearly has a contradiction in that statement. Nope. How exactly are the evidence in the statement just now related?
Oh.
They aren't, are they? That was Amber's doing.
I'm sorry, I thought...
Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think the facts over before making accusations. Oops.
Why don't...
I don't think that won me any points with the judge.
Luke, when he says... I remember the old man arrived not long after him. Did you already press that? If you didn't, could you press that again?
I pressed everything.
Can we try it again? Where he says, when the old man came not long after him.
Okay, it was approximately 5 minutes.
It's just... when it says that the old man came long after him.
The old man came, got word, lottery, being very excited. No other customers. I remember the old man arrived not long after him.
Can we press that? Because I don't remember pressing that.
I pressed everything. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Armstrong.
Yeah,
it's special.
We did.
Yeah, I did this all. Oui, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. Okay, so... yeah, deja vu.
Yeah, I guess we already pressed this before.
I said it was worth 1 sip and nothing more. So the old man arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. So
we
already
did.
asked about how many minutes after. What time was it?
Yeah, let's ask what time he actually came in.
Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh? Oh no, I can't remember, monsieur.
Yeah, right.
I believe we were told by the witness yesterday. Wow, the judge has a good memory. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man.
That's what I remember. It was 2-something.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident occurred about 20 minutes after I arrived. So the victim must have been arrived around between 2 and 2:10, no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. Aha. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oh, he has to edit it.
Okay. Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you. Merci. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood.
He's even humming a song to himself.
I remember Le Man arrived. Okay, now
Just
now the
after
lottery
2.
thing would work.
Now let's try it. All right, yeah, because I remember Gumshoe saying it was like way after 2 that happened. Okay.
I'm afraid I've finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Oui? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of $500,000 lottery tickets. Oui, that must be the show that he was listening to. I can't see any problem with his testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder... You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was at that time because I had just finished serving a lunch menu. Get to the point, Wright, if you have one. I do. That show was broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
So it only goes for 10 minutes.
It's on the air at only 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time.
Whoa.
Dawn! This victim would have been told about has done nothing but the impossible. We've been told about. Dang it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's one little word and it doesn't make any sense.
When I'm doing a lot of voices for different people, I end up jumbling my words.
Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there's only one conclusion that you can draw from these facts.
That guy wasn't really him.
The victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder.
Whoa. That's what yes, they acted it out after the murder happened.
Yes, there were 2 Glens in Tresbienne that day. The real Glenn, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glenn acting out the events for Mr. Kudo as the witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't that case, how could you explain the time of discrepancy?
I know.
Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. What? But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap according to your imaginative theory. It's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Glenn is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glenn is?
They obviously hit him.
I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glenn was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to?
How would we know?
The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glenn, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
Why would we need to answer that? That's
Probably
not...
under the body, or under the table? The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. So show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence?
What's with this intense pressure in here all of a sudden?
I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
We need evidence to show where they hid it?
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence.
Why would...
First of all, where was the body the real egg was concealed? Had to be inside Tresbienne.
Why would they pull it out of Tresbienne? It's got to be inside. Yeah, I think they hid it somewhere in the store.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too. It would have to be very dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tresbienne. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you could take care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The exact location where the body was concealed was inside Tres Bien. Was probably in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I mean, either that or under the table, but somebody probably would have noticed him under the table.
The body was hidden here. I see. Nice,
Supposition.
Supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location?
Okay, so anything that could have fallen out of his pockets or off of his ear or something that...
Well, the only...
Or a trace of him.
The medicine!
Oh!
The medicine was found in the kitchen!
Yeah, so that could have fallen out of his pocket or something.
Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No! I've never seen an ugly bottle before in my life! I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen.
Whoa.
But I only use these bottles for aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited a clinic for his ear and was given medication that day?
Ear doctor.
Ear doctor, you can't be serious! The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Blah! Glenn's murderer hid the body in the restaurant's kitchen, which is totally against regulations.
Unsanitary!
Exactly, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket.
I'm never eating there again.
Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? He's an accessory to murder. Mon Dieu!
He knew it!
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. It was you who hid the victim's body.
Oh my gosh.
You did a fine job pretending to defend my client Maggie Bird, however. You were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No!
Yeah, he set her up to take the fall. That's true.
Can't trust people like that. Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development! Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn? Never! I could not do such an horrible thing!
Someone did.
No! Mr. Godot!
Mr. Godot?
The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. You have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now, dude? You are high on Java!
Yeah.
Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? Pardon? Please, you must hear me out. It's a trap, listen to me. Por favor? How about...
Yo hablo español.
I can't even speak Spanish! Mr. Armstrong, por favor, in Spanish! I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None! None! Absolutely none!
He did something.
Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you a chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does the prison, and my gavel! It is clear. Why do they always say in the movies, I've got a bad feeling about this? Oh my gosh. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
They say that in all Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I know. The confession.
Oh, he's gonna confess to murder?
Oh my gosh, he almost got away with it.
Or maybe to move the body.
It is true, I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with this because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him, I swear it, you must believe me. He's still an accessory to murder, he's going to jail. You were forced to? By who? I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Well, I mean, he was under duress, but I don't know.
let's try a different question then. Mr. Glenn died. Was he really the only person at his table? There was... Yes. There he is.
There
was another man.
Now we finally get this out. Oh my god.
I knew it.
Maggie was telling the truth, Nick!
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There was just one thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer.
Yeah, he's gonna be too scared to tell us, but he better. The only way we can get him to tell him is to accuse him of murder.
It has to be the mafia guy. It's true, I hid the body in the kitchen.
It had to be the mafia
A
guy.
man forced me to do it. I had no choice. The only person who matches the description of that man with the spiky hair in the picture is Tiger.
There we go.
Gotcha. Let's end this dance, ring around the Ozzy. Let's end this dance of ring around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to, correct? Ah! Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I don't know, maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Firo Tigre. He's the manager of the loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tiger, at least not while he has this on you.
Oh, what?
I think it's his debt. His loan contract.
Yeah, his loan. Exactly. He owes the guy money.
A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark.
Why didn't he take a loan out from the bank?
Banks don't really give out loans, not that size.
Yeah.
And you had no way of paying it back, did you? Did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say.
Mr. Armstrong!
Late Tiger, he told me I was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand they repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. Now he's becoming Italian. I carried the body and the unconscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I tried to forget what I'd seen.
Aww.
I think we can now safely say
Poor chef.
that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Firo Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron, was that your doing as well? None! I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it, I was not. It is, despicable. Mr. Godot! You will summon this, Tigre as a witness. I doubt that he can be arranged today, so we'll adjourn for now.
Oh my gosh.
Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
We're gonna have the mobster on the stand?
Oh, great.
Wow.
30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I will see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Not really. Very well, your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, this court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Wow. Wow. That's pretty crazy.
I feel like I should have taken like a 6-month course in French to be able to do this episode.
I had no idea. All right, so anyway, guys and gals, that does it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow as Tiger takes the stand. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and check the playlist for past episodes if you've missed one. We'll see you at 6 p.m. with a video on another game later today. God bless and happy gaming.
See